My name is Jane Kosti, and my husband Bob Kosti, up in the corner there, and we live in Burlington, Ontario. And we will tell you in a minute why we are even involved in this. So I just want to meet the guests first, so I know who I'm talking to with and to.
Jane,
Yes, Rosemary.
I believe I see one of my guests on. I believe Kathy King is on.
Oh, hi there. I went to the Holistic Health Fair also, and I met Ruth. I think it's Ruth.
Rosemary.
Like I got to go back to my cell phone. Sorry, Rosemary.
That's okay.
And yeah, and she just invited me to come to this, and I said, because I'm going to try these patches, because what's the worst that can happen, right? They don't
Exactly.
work.
Exactly. Okay. So we've had an exciting week, and I'm anxious to get going and tell you about some of this. Before we do, I am going to ask you, like popcorn, if you will please say why you, not the guests, but the associates, why you got started with Super Patch and what patches you're on and what your favorite one is and why. And if you can do this in about 2 minutes, it will be really a lot of fun. And I think a lot of information will be gathered. And for the new people, if you want to just, if you can, write down on a piece of paper of the notes that you liked about what you heard about the patch. And we'll have some questions at the very end to help you, because I know what it was like when we started, and it was confusing. So I will try to make it easier for you to understand. And I will go into a little bit of the product knowledge as well. Okay, who would like to start? Joan? Okay.
Okay. I love the Peace Patch. It's incredible. I can be stressed about things, put the Peace Patch on, and within 20 minutes, I'm feeling completely, it's okay. It's absolutely wonderful. And I've got to tell you, I also love the Lumi Patch. When I started wearing that, I can't believe how many people that I really didn't know stopped me and said, I've got to tell you, your skin is amazing. So that was pretty exciting.
Okay, my first question, why did you get involved with Super Patch?
Well, because of you. And then I ended up getting some freedom patches, and I didn't have any pain, but I gave them to a friend who gave them to her husband, who'd been taking extra strength Tylenol 3 times a day because his knees were so bad, and they said he wasn't ready for a knee replacement. And I said, I have no idea if these work, but my friend Janie said they work for her. I don't need them. I'll give them to you. I gave them to her. And she called me the next day and said, this is incredible. Brian hasn't had any extra strength Tylenol since when he came home from work, they have a heavy equipment business. He put them on his knees, and he hadn't had an extra strength Tylenol in 24 hours. And this was absolutely incredible. So she said, where do I get them? I said, oh, just a minute. I think I'm getting in the business. You'll get them from me. So that's exactly how I started, because I had a friend who saw such an enormous difference in her husband.
Joan, it's funny. Thank you for sharing, because it's exactly what happens to me as well. But it's nice to hear other people say it too. Okay. Lynn, would you like to?
It's Lynn Kay, all the way from Huntsville.
Okay.
Hi, Lynn.
And hi there, Melody. Glad you made it. Yes, we started with the Liberty and the Defend, just because we understand about the importance of the immune system. And because we're older, we figured surely something is clogged, that surely, we need to kind of clear everything up to our brain. And we were getting a little bit nervous about getting older and falling a lot. My husband had been falling a lot. And with these 2 patches on especially, he no longer needs his cane, and his shaking hands have stopped. So that kind of led us on to our journey. And when he gets a little bit stressed, we just put the Peace Patch on. The other day he had a little headache, and he put it right on in the middle of his forehead, and it was gone within minutes. So that just keeps us going. Excited to try some more of these other patches, but I think the secret is to be using them more than a month, because my body got this way over almost 7 decades. So I've got to give it at least a month or two or 3, who knows? But we're quite happy with the results.
Yes, and when Jay was talking with Bob and myself, he said that it can take up to 3 months before you really have some good results, and you'll hear it as we go along in the stories. So everybody's body's different, and everybody takes different times, and we have to remember that, because sometimes we get impatient and think we're going to get rid of something immediately. So thank you, Lynn.
My name's Andrew. I'm in Burlington, Ontario, neighbors with Jane and Bob. And that's actually how I discovered Super Patch. They were increasingly wearing them on their arms, their legs, and their forehead, and everywhere, and kind of suggesting I, check them out at some point. And I think several months went by, and Jane and Rosemary came to my door and challenged me to the stability test. And I was like, okay, I mean, sure, let's just do it, whatever. And I was blown away by the fact that they could push me over. And I was interested to see what happens when I put on the Liberty patch, and it obviously it had an impact. So I kind of dove in and started as a customer, and I eventually became an associate. I'm now wearing Liberty, Peace, Joy, Defend, I said Joy already. So sorry, Liberty, Peace, Joy, Defend. And when I have an occasional headache, I'll throw Freedom on the back of my neck, and within 20 minutes it's gone. So pretty awesome.
Okay, thank you. Cher, how about you?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cher Smith, and I'm from Leamington, Ontario, which is close to Windsor, Ontario. I started using the patches. I am an associate, and I spoke with Jane because I had a lot of pain in my thumbs, and she suggested that well, first of all, she sent me a couple of videos, and I was sold on the videos before I even tried the patches. But I started off with Liberty, Defend, and Freedom. The pain within a couple of weeks started to subside in my thumbs, and I don't use Freedom every day now. The pain has gone. I guess my favorite patch would be the Peace patch and the Focus for sure, but every day I use the Liberty and the Defend. And I just love how I feel now. So thank you, Janie.
And it's fun to see that you've had such good results, especially in your fingers with the arthritis.
Yeah.
It really cleared that up for you.
Yes, it did. It did. But the Peace patch is wonderful, and so is the Focus and the Lumi. There's a number of them that I use, but yeah, they're all work well.
Good. Thank you. Judith, down in Grand Bend.
Hey, hi there. I live in a little village close to Lake Huron, or Huron Lake. And I joined the company because of Janie and Bob, who were longtime friends. And because I had a knee issue, and so did Larry. So when we tried Liberty and Freedom to begin with, we were amazed how it helped, and it was incredible. And I think it took maybe a couple of months before I was literally pain-free. And I rarely ever wear Freedom now. I just don't need it. But every day I wear Liberty, Defend, and Lumi every day. But I would have to say my favorite's probably Defend, because I've had 2 occasions where I've been around really sick people and I have not caught what they had. One was, she was deathly ill, and I was staying at her house, and I kind of had no other option. I had to stay there. And she was worried because her daughter came to visit to kind of look after her, and her daughter ended up in hospital with whatever she had. So, but I didn't get it because I was using Liberty and Defend. And then just very recently, I was with 2 other girls sharing rooms and a bathroom at a cottage, and the same hand towel. They only provided one, that was it. So we're all using the same one. And both the other gals, one being my daughter, they were really sick for 5 days, and I got absolutely nothing. So I really am sold on, well, I'm sold on all of them, but I think my favorite, in keeping with the topic tonight, would have to be Defend for sure.
Thank you. And I agree. The Defend is really, really important.
I'm Elisa. I'm in Toronto. and I'm in the business because of Joan, who spoke first. And we ended up meeting at a totally unrelated type of gathering, and ended up, we thought, hey, it might be nice to get to know her a little bit. So we arranged to have coffee. And the next thing I know, she has just sat in her car listening to one of Jay's early, what did they call those, Joan? Big leadership chats or something. It was brand new practically to you anyway. You had absolutely loved the lecture that Jay had given. And so we're at lunchtime, she's starting to tell us about it. And she had these freedom patches. She obviously didn't give them all to that first guy because she still had some on her. So she gave me a couple because I've got arthritic knees that have been developing for quite a while. So I actually left the table and went into the washroom and put them on immediately. Anyway, I would like to say that I am now just dancing without any problem, but that would be a lie. I'm still suffering a little bit with it, but I do think it's better because sometimes it would get to be so painful that I would break down and take one of those little leaves. Because that's what Jeopardy used to advertise. They used to advertise on Jeopardy. Anyway, I don't remember the last time I felt I needed to use one of those. So anyway, I, like many others, I liberty and defend every day and freedom. And when I have an essay due, which is coming up again, I throw on focus. And I actually managed to have it work one time before. And since I have one due soon, I'm trying it again. So pretty soon I will find out. I think if I get the essay in, that means that focus is now my favorite.
Hi, Louise. Where
Hi,
are you? First of all, where are you?
well, hi, Jane. I'm in Stony Creek. I'm just across the bridge from you. I
Okay.
met Rosemary at the Wellness Expo. I did try, we tried the, what did you put on Ray that you did the balance test on him? And he's a big guy. He's like a bodybuilder. Yeah.
Liberty.
Yeah. And then I went ahead and got the pain ones, and he still works. He's 60 years old. And he's still doing manual labor. Yeah, the pain every once in a while. So I was interested in what Cher said about now with the pain, she only uses it when she kind of really needs it, like every other day, which I found super interesting because I found I didn't need it every day. And I usually work out every day. And sometimes I work out harder than others with weights and cardio. So I found that super interesting. But what would you recommend? I want to kind of like dabble in different things. Liberty, I'm onto the Liberty right now. I really love it.
I'm going to get into your questions at the end, okay? And we'll cover them
okay.
all.
So that's a question. Like, should I jump on Lumi? Should I jump on Joy? I don't know about peace. I think I'm kind of like 1.5 years retired, so I'm quite peaceful now compared to teaching. But I just wanted to know more because I have become an associate, and I really want to know, is there any feedback on the diet ones? That's the one. Which one is diet?
Okay, I got you on the list here. We'll get back.
Okay, great. That's all I need to do. Okay. I don't have to take up any more time.
Thank you, Stella.
My name is Stella Chacho, and I'm from Kingsville, Ontario. I was introduced with the Super Patch really from Cher Smith.
Yes.
And she introduced me to the Freedom Patch because I've been suffering with sciatica for many years. And I'm one of those people that it took about 3 months for it to kick in. So I was kind of, she was motivating me to, to hang in there. And one day I noticed that I wasn't feeling any pain. So that started, really good. And then my aha moment was when I went out east and I broke my, my little toe just 2 days before I left for my trip. So I had a boot on. And me and my husband walked 6,000 steps. And I felt no pain at all with the patch on.
That's super. And now you're still doing so well because when I met you last week, you were doing great. That's terrific.
Yeah, I've been wearing Liberty, Freedom, and defend Defend. And also Lumi is the one that I was introduced to, and that was actually instantaneously. I noticed that a lot of people have commented on that as well for me. So
Perfect.
my
Thank
favorite is Lumi.
Good. Thank you, Stella. And you know, you say it takes 3 months. We have a neighbor down the street who's had sciatica for years and years and on cortisone shots for years and years.
Right.
We tried him on. He didn't want to try anything except for the freedom patch, and he didn't really have much luck. So we finally got him on the Liberty and Defend, which I will explain later.
Mhm.
And it took 3 months. He started to get results in about 2 weeks, a little bit. In about 6 weeks, he could definitely see a difference. And now he doesn't even wear the freedom patch anymore. And he's glued to the Liberty and Defend. And he's walking all around. We see him walking up the street because he's down the street from us. So it took him a good 3 months as well. So
You must have a fantastic neighborhood.
we do have a fantastic neighborhood.
Wonderful.
We do. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
I just got my patches
I
yesterday.
love this story, everybody. Barb, tell them where you live.
I live in St. Catharines, Niagara. I got my patches yesterday. I've had a very sore, aching shoulder. I put the patch on at about 3:30, and by 5 o'clock, I had no pain.
And you could raise your arm over your head.
Not only that, but I could put it behind my head. I haven't been able to do that in months. I've only got 4 of them because I just got the basic kit, and I've got to kind of carry it through. So I've got enough to keep me going until I get my order in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going by Burlington, we can help you out.
Oh, keep that in mind.
Okay.
Thanks, Jane.
Okay. Nice to have you on, and congratulations.
Thank you. This is wonderful.
Kathy, are you getting some more information as you're hearing people talk tonight? How do you feel about it?
Well, I feel good, and I just think, why wouldn't I try it? Especially hearing, because arthritis is one thing, especially if it's osteoarthritis, but for sciatica, to know that it works for that, that's really, I think that's really helpful. And I'll just listen to, I know, I want to say, is it Rosemary? Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Yeah. You know, and she suggested the Liberty and the freedom. And then I'm thinking of my daughter for the peace patch, go big or go home.
Barb Lima, did you want to say anything?
I do, because I haven't talked to Jane or Cher in a week, and I've got some news.
Ooh.
I originally I know Jane and Cher from many years ago, and Bob. And they talked to me about this about a year ago, and I just wasn't ready, and got in touch with each other about some other matters. And then I said, you know what? I think it's time to try the patch with the pain that I have in my hip, lower back and hip. I have arthritis. Now I've been on it for, I think it's 2.5 weeks, and the hip pain's still there, but the back pain is gone. And I have had, obviously with all the pain, you don't get any sleep. So I tried the REM. And this is night number 5 that I have slept solid 7 hours.
Wow.
I cannot believe it. So I have my daughter on it. She started, I guess this is day 3. And she's 28 and lives on her own, and she has terrible sleep habits. So she's on it. It hasn't kicked in yet. And then I have another friend who has terrible sleep. So I ordered the REM for her. So she's on that as well. But I've got my daughter on the Liberty as well. But my friend, I don't have her on the Liberty. So they do go hand in hand. Is that what?
Yes, I'll explain it in a minute. Yeah.
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 So right now I'm wearing the Liberty, the Defend, and the Freedom in the daytime. And I'm going to keep doing the REM for now. And I'm
at nighttime.
At nighttime, just at night. Yeah.
And do you put it on about a half an hour before you go to bed?
Yes, I do. Yep. Thank you.
Do you dream when you're sleeping?
Oh my gosh. Yes. For 2 nights, I woke up and I I had to phone this one friend. I said, you got to hear about the dream I had last night. Yeah, really weird, different dream. And I haven't dreamt in years.
You're in your REM stage, and we need about 4 to 5 hours of that stage, and that's what's happening. So good.
Yeah, I can feel me really deep sleep. Yeah, that's the best.
Great.
I feel so refreshed. Yeah.
Everybody.
I'm Jamie. I also live in Burlington, down the street from Jane and Bob. And I'm like co-associates with Andrew here. And I guess my first experience with the patches was when we had COVID back in August. And for a couple days, I was really knocked down in bed, not really doing much. And we were waiting for them to come. And they came, and I put them on immediately. And within, I don't know, minutes, I was like, okay, time to do laundry, time to do this. I just had such renewed energy. I felt so strong. And it was a really positive, very immediate experience. So it was awesome. So I definitely feel the strength with the Liberty on a daily basis, but I would say I'd have to agree with many others before me that the Lumi is fantastic. You really notice a difference in your skin, and it's pretty exciting.
My name's Anne McLean, and I'm a friend and with Lynn, and I live in Huntsville. Lynn, I think, had noticed my husband having some difficulties that her husband was having. So with mobility and with a little bit of a tremble, etc. So she invited me to one of her introductory meetings, and Jane and Rosemary were there as well. So my husband went up to do, he didn't want to because he was pretty unstable, but he went up to have the balance test, and he went up with a cane. He was really hesitant, but the Liberty patch worked for him, and he almost danced across the room. He's a bit of a show off and a bit of a joker. So once he knew that he had the balance, off he went, leaving his cane behind. So I set him up with Liberty Defend, and he has a bit of a knee problem. So he also had the pain patch. And it seemed to really make a difference. He goes to the track now, and he walks around the track, sometimes with hiking poles, and he doesn't use his hiking poles. He just carries them for balance. So he strides with them, but they never hit the ground. So that's fantastic, because he went from like a wheelchair to a walker, which he uses occasionally when he's carrying things around the house, or he's going to a track where he knows that he can't sit down. He'll take the walker, leave it partway around the track, and then come and sit on it as he goes around. So anyway, that was my beginning. And I've got like a million other stories, but I will say that I wear Lumi, and I wear Defend and Liberty, and the REM is not very good for me. It works sometimes, but it doesn't work all the time. But I've switched it up with Peace, and Peace makes me sleep.
Yes.
I just got a text from Rosemary, who's on the call always. And she said, if you want to mention me using anywhere from 4 to 6 patches a day, she said, I'm 87 years old, and I try to walk at least 15 to 30 minutes a day, sometimes uphill. My neuropathy feels a lot better using Defend, Liberty, Freedom, but Peace is my sleep go-to. So she's amazing.
She is amazing.
Yeah, she's on the call every week. She doesn't have a camera, and she doesn't have a microphone, but she sends me little messages, and she's willing to share, which is wonderful.
Yes.
It's Bev.
Hi, Bev.
So I wanted to share a little bit, but I also want to say that my friend Hank is on there now. Oh, there, he just took his glasses off.
Yep.
Hi, Hank.
He's not very computer savvy, so he's learning his way here.
All right.
Hank lives just north of me in the Stouffville area, and he just started on Liberty and Defend on Monday. And he's one of those lucky people who had instantaneous results.
Wow.
He just was able to do things that he hadn't been able to do in years. Something as simple as crossing one leg over the other. Is that right, Hank? Oh, he's on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can.
Okay.
So the Liberty Patch gave you some energy and balance.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the balance yet, but I'm able to. I could never put my right leg over top of my left leg. I could do it the other way around, but not. Couldn't put my left leg over my right leg, and I was able to do it.
Great.
And you used what the Freedom Patch one night when you went to bed because you had a pain in your back.
Yeah.
And it helped immediately.
Well, no, I had a pain in my leg and it went away.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was my whole leg was aching, and I thought, oh, I'm going to put one of those pain patches on, and I thought, well, it helped.
So I started on the patches back just over a year and a half ago through Rosemary Young, and I live just north of Toronto in Stouffville. And the patch I was most interested in was Freedom because I have a lot of arthritic ache and back pain. And I was insistent that I was only going to use one patch, so I did. But 2 weeks later, I added the Liberty, and it made a world of difference. And I still have arthritis. That's not going away, but I have no inflammation or irritation in that way at all. And I have neuropathy apparently, which I didn't know until my back pain went away because I couldn't feel it. But it's doing really well. I can't get over the fact that my toes have feeling again. And my favorite patch is probably REM. I'm lucky that REM helps me sleep. I put that patch on and in 20 minutes, I am sound asleep and I don't move all night.
Great.
I just wake up in the morning well slept and I'm off and going.
And the fact that these patches don't have any chemical or drugs.
Exactly.
Is amazing. You hear us talking about the Liberty Patch and the Defend Patch. When Bob and I went to the opening, and it'll be 2 years in January, Bob had complained of numbness and tingling and neuropathy in his legs, and his toes were numb. And we went to the presentation and learned that there was nothing in these chemicals. We actually talked to the doctor who did the FDA registered for the patches, and Jay himself in his office. And because he has a pacemaker and he has blood thinners and used to run marathons, I was really leery. But after talking to them, they said there's no problem. And so we started with the Liberty, because the Liberty Patch is your iOS, like your computer. Your Liberty Patch is your internal operating system, and it basically clears the channels so that through the touch, through your skin, sends a message to your hypothalamus axis, which is your HPA axis that controls everything in your brain. And it's clearing the channels, the Liberty Patch is, and that's your neurological part of your body. So when you are using the Liberty Patch, you are getting balance right away in about 7 seconds. The Defend Patch is regulating your biochemistry of your body. It's making sure that the networks that communicate with your brain, with the HPA axis, and the rest of the body always have the right information going back and forth. And we can see quicker and more balanced immune responses with this Defend Patch. And basically the Defend Patch helps our immune response and recovery from sickness and illness. And it also gives our body, the cells, energy and the ability to protect and heal. And also very important with the Defend Patch, it helps with the inflammation. It's your inflammation that is clearing from the Defend Patch, not the Liberty, the Defend. The Liberty is for balance, and the Defend Patch is for your immune and inflammation. And that's why the 2 patches are necessary. So that's why they should be worn 24 hours. And with Gary, who had sciatica down the street and just wore the Freedom Patch, it wasn't working. It wasn't until he put the Liberty and the Defend on that it works. Now, same thing back to Bob. When he put the Liberty and Defend on, about the second or third day, he said, I thought he could see clearer, and he just felt a little different. But after 2 weeks, he did start to feel a lot better, but still had that burning and tingling sensation. And to make a long story short, it took about 2 months before he actually got the results. And he doesn't wear his Defend patch anymore. Now he has his favorite patch, and I'm going to let him tell you.
One of the issues that I do have is I suffer sometimes from anxiety attacks. Have had them severely in the past, where a couple of times I've had to take extra time off work. But in the last year, I've been using the Peace Patch, and I've had no issues whatsoever for the last year. And as Jane said tonight, when all of a sudden, very close to when everything was supposed to be started, we had heard that Tommy couldn't make it for the start of it, and so he asked me to do it, and here we are.
And here you are. And in fact, you were really calm. And last week I told you that we had a sad funeral to go to, and one of Bob's colleagues from the School for the Deaf in Milton, where Bob taught, his colleague taught there for 50 years. He was in a church meeting on October 12th and was on the second floor and caught his foot and went head first down the stairs, had 2 brain bleeds. And they had to take him off. He was not going to come out of it. And it was really sad. But there must have been 100 former students. And Bob was, 21 when you started teaching at the school. And he had students that were 19. So everybody was coming up to Bob and saying, his sign is K for Kosti. I don't know signing. I only know because I went to Clark School was oral, but I do know that. And they said, Mr. Kosti, do you remember me? All these teachers were coming up, and now they're like 70, some of them are 75 years old, and we're trying to guess who it was. But honestly, being there and seeing some of them walking with canes, walking stiff, having a hard time. And we learned that another principal, Ron Dodds, who also on October had a brain bleed from falling. So we have to be really careful as our balance starts to decline at about 50. And as it declines, other things happen, and then disease sets in, and you have to really, really be careful, because then you don't have a healthy brain. And that's why I so believe in this Liberty patch. You need to wear this Liberty patch because it's giving you the balance that you need, and it's clearing the channels. And then because of disease and what we're coming into the winter and all kinds of changes of weather, it's important to wear the Defend patch. I haven't had any problems with pollen in 2 years with my eyes. And the Defend patch is definitely what's helped me with it. So the Liberty is your physiology part of your body, a neurological part of your body, and your Defend is your physiological part. They go together. And then all of the other patches that we have are like apps on your phone that help. And Jay taking 15 years to do research because his mom had MS, and he was determined to get her out of a wheelchair, and studied with scientists in Japan and in Switzerland and the States. And because of Braille, he was able to decode all our networks and recode. And it took years. And we only have these patches. Nobody else has this type of technology. So we're really fortunate. And I think we can change a lot of lives, as you're hearing here. And I want to add one thing, because I'm hearing more and more about the people with the Lumi patch. And I developed I developed eczema at 80. And I said to Dr. Taylor in Oakville, how come I've got this? I was a national sales director with Mary Kay, and now I've got this on my face. And it burned, and it was tingling. And itchy all at once. And I had it for almost a year. And when our Lumi patch came out, I put it on, and within 3 days, my eczema is gone. So I know we have some younger people that have eczema too, and they're going to start with the Lumi, because the Lumi helps optimizing your cell respiration. In other words, it enhances cell energy. The Lumi does, and it enhances the cell energy, which leads to better cell glow, but better cell respiration and energy leads to healthier looking skin. So basically, the Lumi is working like you would put on moisturizer to your skin. It's Lumi is doing it instead. And have I taken it off and not had it since I've been cleared? No, but I'm going to. I'm going to see what happens when I take this Lumi patch off. I mean, not wear it. Because I asked Jay when I saw him if we can get off these patches. And he said, yes, depends what you're trying to help, how long you've had it, and what you're trying to cure, or not cure, but really, yeah, in some cases, cure my eczema, I hope. But I want you to really realize, and I want to emphasize the importance of the Liberty and the Defend, and then all these other patches will work much, much better. I hope that helps you a little, understanding why it's so important with the Liberty and the Defend patch. The network of it is very complicated. Jay said to us that, I was looking over my notes again, that the Defend patch was the hardest one to make because it's so complex. And so it does so many things. And so we want to stay healthy. We want to have good balance. We want to have good balanced immune system. And we want to have a healthy life. So the Liberty and Defend are really, really important. Louise, are you still on, Louise?
I'm here.
Okay, so you were asking about Liberty is for your balance and very critical. It's your iOS, like your computer, and your Defend is your immune system. Now, you were saying about diet. Kick It works for some people. Kick It works for a habit. Judith, what does Carrie's daughter use for weight?
Actually, it's her son, Ben. He started on Ignite, and
Ignite, yes.
he did lose some pounds on that, but once he added Kick It, he lost a lot more. I think in about 3 months, he's lost over 20 pounds. He's using Kick It also to help him stop smoking.
If you think about what it is, it's kick it. It's to kick anything that's habitual to you.
Yes.
So any problem you have that's constant, it does kick the habit.
Jane, I have a quick question.
Yes.
I put Liberty on my left shoulder and Defend on my right shoulder, and then I switch them over the next day. Does it matter, or should you have the patch in the same place?
No, you can switch it. You can switch it for sure. And the only patch that you should probably try and put in is where your major pain is for the Freedom. I had major trouble with rotator cuff, and mine, I'm really getting better now. I couldn't even brush my teeth with it. And so I always make sure it's right on my shoulder where it is. But if you've got back pain, then you want to put it there. My suggestion to you is some people have been wearing, because I'm getting so many calls, 6 and 7 patches at a time, and then they say they don't work in 3 days. Well, how can you tell if they're not working if you don't know which one's working and which one's not working, and in 3 days doesn't give you much time. I would suggest when you're starting is to go with the Liberty and the Freedom, or the Liberty and the Defend, but try, I know some of you have not gotten the Defend, but it's important that you do have the Defend, because it really keeps your inflammation, and that's what causes pain. It's your inflammation in our body. If we didn't have any inflammation, none of us would have any pain.
Excuse me.
Yes.
You were saying about your eyes there, about the running.
Yes.
I have that as well, and only in my left eye mostly. And I do use dry eye drops to try to suppress it or whatever. And what do you use for that?
For the Lumi or the dry eyes?
For the dry eye.
I'm just using the Lumi now. I'm not using any eye drops that come from Germany that are really expensive from my ophthalmologist. I don't use them. I strictly am using the Lumi patch.
So that's Lumi?
Lumi, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know whether I had it spelled right.
No, really, I swear by it because it's definitely helped me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Jamie, can I mention about my eye issue as well?
Sure. Yeah.
About 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with a very serious illness, and it left me with an injury to my eye, my right eye, that they call either a fold or I forget, there's another term for it. And it basically does impair the vision in my right eye. And I had just had my eyes checked at that time before I started using patches. When I started using Lumi, I've had my eyes checked one time since. My vision has definitely improved. And my gal checking my eyes, she was amazed. She said, I've seen people with this fold in the back of the eye, a few times. She said, it's not common, but it's there. And she said, I have never seen it get better. I've always seen it where you have to end up having surgery. And it's like operating on tissue paper. Or like cellophane. So she said it's a very risky surgery, which I don't want to have, of course. But when I started using Lumi, and I don't even know what time period, except I've probably been on Lumi about 4 months.
That's what I'm thinking, because we started together.
And that's the only thing I can think of that has affected my eyes for the good. So I am thrilled. I will never stop using Lumi for sure. So if you know anyone that has an eye issue of any kind, I would definitely suggest Lumi.
Well, I can add to that very quickly, and I know we've come into an end, but Rosemary has had amazing results with, we think it's Defend because of her eyesight, right?
When I joined the company, I don't have any aches or pains, so I'm really fortunate that way. And I'm the reverse age of the other Rosemary that's on the call tonight. But anyway, I had been told that I was below safe driving, which really scared me, and thought they could fix it with glasses. That didn't work. So I started using the patches the end of January of 2023. I saw the eye specialist again in Ottawa 3.5 months later, which is the middle of May, and I had used Liberty and Defend faithfully every day, and I tested above safe driving. And prior to seeing him, I would think, I think I'm seeing better. And then I would say to myself, oh, that's just your imagination. But I actually was seeing better. And that was there was no other changes in my lifestyle. I went to the gym, which I use Victory when I go to the gym. But I went to the gym, I ate the same. I did nothing different in my lifestyle except those 2 patches. Mm-hmm. And so to go from below safe driving to above safe driving, that's a real game changer. I would have to say I have a duo that are my favorites. And I use Peace a lot. I'm using Lumi every day because of Judy's testimony about her eye care. And I do have other issues with my eye as well. So I thought, well, why not? I should use the Lumi as well. I use Focus now and again, and Victory when I go to the gym. And I just think we're so lucky to have this kind of technology that's globally protected as well. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jane,
Yep.
Jane, my dry eye, I don't have it. And I was mentioning it to Zig today. It's just Defend and Liberty, and my dry eye is gone.
Fabulous. And I think that's done it with me too. And when Bob went to his checkup with his cardiologist for his pacemaker, Dr. Vera said to her, and I used to work with her at Women's College Hospital, so I know her quite well. She said, I don't know what you're doing, Bob, but keep it up. But he's not using the pacemaker. He's gone from 95 to 75% of the time. So for his atrial fibrillation. So we're all going to be healthy. We're all going to live to 100.
Yeah, we are.
And share. I'm really excited. I hope you got some more information that you needed. I hope the guests that were on the call, we're glad they were on the call and learned some for themselves. And I want to thank the associates for bringing the guests on the call and the new associates as well. And we do have share with a quick close.
And it's by Roy T. Bennett. Believe in your infinite potential. Your only limitations are those you set upon yourself. Believe in yourself, your abilities, and your own potential. Never let self-doubt hold you captive. You are worthy of all that you dream of and hope for.
Ah,
Thank you.
Right.
Very nice.
perfect
Thank you.
ending.